Hey guys, so yesterday I did a ting. I went to Harlem, New York, and the next few clips that you're going to see after this introduction is you will see that I traveled solo. I considered it like a business trip because I have not shared enough content with you guys. And if you are here subscribing to my channel, Octavia's Palace, please do so if you haven't. Please support me. I promise that I'm going to do my very best and honor what I said I'm going to do, which is post more content. So I went to Harlem yesterday, and it was a day trip. Okay, so this will be a day in the life with Lauren Graham going to Harlem. And the theme was, for me, was just Harlem, Black Harlem Renaissance in a sense. So it was also nostalgic because my first time going to New York, I remember my parents took me, and I was 13 or 14 years old. And I begged them so much to take me to Harlem because, not so much to Harlem, but just take me to New York. I wanted to go to New York. So I think my dad decided, okay, all of a sudden it was just I used to get on their nerves about it. And they finally decided to take me to New York. And I will always remember this. We went to, of course, Manhattan, and we were doing the whole tourist thing. And I think my dad made a point to just take us to Harlem. And we were actually outside of the Apollo Theater. That was the last time that I went to the Apollo. I never went inside the Apollo, but I was outside of the Apollo. Long story short, my mom has, she has ancestry in New York as far as her family, and that's a whole nother topic. But pretty much both my maternal grandmother, grandfather have, they have siblings and relatives who have lived in New York. My grandmother basically lived in New York at one point herself, but that's another conversation. And that's, everyone knows this, that when you have ancestry from the South, right? We are all African American people, and we were enslaved, and not to say all of us, watch Finding Your Roots for that, but we were brought here. And more than likely, if you have family that, relocated from Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, half the time they went to New York. Well, my grandparents, all four of my grandparents, my maternal and my paternal, came to Philadelphia. Whole nother topic, I know. But back to the point of this video. The point of this video is that my dad took us to Harlem, and we were outside of the Apollo Theater, and then we ran into my mom's first cousin Ray. And that day, had no idea that was going to turn into, we actually spent the entire weekend in New York. So we went from Harlem to Brooklyn, and I got to meet family members for the first time. And going to Harlem yesterday was a nostalgic feeling, okay, without revealing a lot, but I will be 38 next month, okay? So that was a while ago, guys. That was a while ago of going to Harlem, right? Don't have a lot of experience with it. So I started going to Harlem, I want to say maybe 2 years ago, but just little bit of Harlem. Such as if you see my previous video from my New York City day trip, when I went to Red Rooster, I went to Melba's. That was my first, or you could say my second time really experiencing Harlem, because majority of my family members on my mom's side live in Brooklyn. And I think that I've become a little familiar with Brooklyn. And over the years, when we would go to New York, we would always go to Brooklyn, okay? So now, as an adult, I decided, you know what? Let me do some traveling. Let me become a solo traveler. I love it. When I say that, I literally I don't know. I just felt wow. You know what I mean? It's a wow because, I had a fear at one time. Like, I didn't want to travel by myself, or I felt like, could I have fun being by myself? And I will admit that there are some things with traveling by yourself. One, you really have to plan. Okay, if you are not a planner, solo traveling could be a little dangerous for you because you need to like think about everything. But that's not to deter you. If you are not a planner, start becoming one. Like, figure out what brings you joy and what makes you interested, and then you'll be more inclined to plan it out. Plan it out on like maybe 2 activities or just one. And maybe just start within your city. So back to my point. That was the nostalgia of going to Harlem. I got to go to see the Dance Theater Harlem this was the company, Dance Theater Harlem, DTH. They had a production called Harlem Mouse, Country Mouse. And while I'm on the money, let me show you the program. Let me show you the program. Harlem Mouse, Country Mouse. This was amazing, okay? Featuring the DTH company and the school. And please make sure you watch my next video. This video is just an introduction to my day trip, and I just wanted to give an in-depth before you watch, and so that way things make sense. So, well, I don't want to say it like that, but you get what I'm saying. So basically, this was a family matinee. It was so beautiful. It was really good, okay? The kids did an amazing job. I was so proud of them. And more importantly, believe it or not, I actually was sitting next to this young lady right here. I was sitting next to her mom. And it was like, whoa, really? So when you see the clips, when you see the next video where I show you exactly my trip, just be prepared for that. Not saying be prepared, but just look at it like, wow, like everything happens for a reason. Like the universe will put you near people for a reason. And I'm saying this because my trip was fantastical. It was fantastical. It was amazing. It was stupendous. It was beyond what I even could imagine. And so I had a nostalgia moment thinking about when my dad took me and my mom to New York, or took me to New York for the first time, because both my parents they actually had been to New York far quicker than I have. Like, they were going when they were like younger, because they have family there, and it was like a second home. And of course, they're my family too, but for whatever reasons, my parents just couldn't do it, or they weren't thinking of. And I remember just saying, please take me to New York. I want to go to New York. I want to go to New York. And I knew that New York was faster to get to than, say, California or Florida. So, of course, it's like, they were like, okay, we're going to take you. So we decided to go on a day trip, and we just went. Mind you, that was so long ago. I was 14 years old. And so now as an adult, and being a solo traveler and being a home chef, it just brought so much joy. And the last thing that I will note, so that, I know you want to get to the video, you want to see the video, I enjoyed myself immensely. When I say that, it was just amazing. So, okay. So this is my intro. And what I will do is I will do another video on tips on how to plan a solo trip to New York. So stay tuned. Thank you. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. Like this video, comment your thoughts on what I said, or if you need any clarification, I will definitely do my best to reach out to you. But please, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So stay tuned for part 2.